Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Editing and Design. It's week 3, which is great news because it means that you have submitted your first lab of the semester. Congratulations. I'm hoping that most of you felt like it was pretty successful and that you didn't have a lot of challenges with it. I do want to note a couple of things, though, that I noticed with submissions that I've already looked at. The first is that you need to make sure that you're exporting properly. So everyone submitted as a PDF, so that is great news. However, some people didn't click the button to make sure that the pages sat next to each other. So you just need to make sure that when you're exporting, you click on the little button that says spreads. If you don't do that, the pages are not sitting next to each other. Instead, they're sitting kind of like this. Some people struggled with not getting the pages sitting next to each other, but getting rid of an empty page above it. To do that, you need to make sure that when you have the pages tab open, you click on the hamburger, which is the little lines stacked on top of each other, and you uncheck allow document pages to shuffle. It seems very counterintuitive to do this, and I think it's very annoying. However, it is how you do it, and then you can just click on the page and put it in the trash can inside of the pages window. So just make sure you're doing that because I did notice a few people submitted improperly in terms of either not having the pages next to each other or having them next to each other and having an empty page above. For the most part, everyone else was able to get the content on there. I think people struggled a little bit with the spacing element, and sometimes that can be a problem. Make sure that you're looking at the example. I provide a PDF every week of what the end product should look like. So take a look at it, and sometimes it might mean scooching things around just a little bit. All right. So that's kind of the big highlights for things that happened last week. This week, we're looking towards our next lab. And this lab is going to play into the same skills that we learned last week, as well as adding new skills. And you're going to start to notice some of the elements of design that I discussed in this week's lecture that you'll be putting into practice in this week's lab. So you'll notice that some of the elements of design we're adding are lines. So you're going to be doing both a vertical line and a horizontal line. You'll also be adding in shape once again, but instead of just having an empty shape or a colorful shape like we had last week, you're going to be putting photos into the shape. I think it's a really fun skill to have. I think sometimes it gets overused in designs, but I think it's important that you learn how to do it, particularly putting photos into shapes like circle, because that tends to be pretty popular out in the real world of design. The rest of this week is just going to be like normal. You'll have this welcome video. You'll have a series of lecture videos to watch. These are going to be on the elements of design, which play back into last week's principles of design. But these are kind of the tools, if you will, that go on the page that go back to those bigger concepts of creating hierarchy, having movement on your page, thinking about pattern and repetition, and of course, developing some sort of balance with all the elements. I think that it's not the most exciting thing to listen to, but putting it into the application is much more fun, and it helps you start to understand how these pieces go together. Your assignment will be due at the end of the week. You'll be submitting that to Canvas, of course. And I look forward to another week of seeing how much you can grow in your design work.